This comment made me rewatch this movie for the first time probably since it came out, and it's actually better than I remember. The Lazarus Effect is about this group of medical researchers that are working on this serum that they have that they call the Lazarus Project because it literally can bring things back from the dead. So the group consists of both doctors, Frank and Zoe, who are engaged, Nico and Clay, who is played by Evan Peters, and a student named Eva joins as their videographer. So they do some trials on animals and it doesn't work until they use the serum on this dog named Rocky who had recently been euthanized. And it works. He wakes up and not only does he come back to life, but his cataracts are cured and he's like a perfectly healthy dog now. But very quickly they notice that Rocky's acting really strange. He has no appetite, he literally doesn't eat, and he becomes really aggressive. So Clay and some of the others are like, this isn't right, like we should euthanize this dog. And Frank's like, absolutely fucking not. Not long after, the dean of the university finds out about their project and comes in and shuts the whole thing down. But Frank and Zoe are like, absolutely fucking not, and they sneak back into the lab to continue their experiments. As they're doing another test run, Zoe goes to flip the power and she gets electrocuted and drops dead. Frank tries everything he can to try and save her, but it doesn't work. She is dead. So obviously Frank is like, well, we have this serum and we know it works, so I'm fucking doing it. Everybody else is like, yeah, Frank, I don't think this is a good idea, but he does not give a shit. He does it anyway. So they do the experiment, and just when they think it doesn't work, they turn around and Zoe is sitting up fully alive like this. But pretty immediately, Frank and the rest of the team realize that Zoe is not really Zoe anymore. She's acting super bizarre. She's able to finish people's sentences and know what they're about to say next. She can read people's minds. She's seeing shit. And eventually she tells Frank that when she died, she went to hell. And her hell was her living through the most traumatic event of her life over and over again for what seemed like years. And that traumatic event is when she was a child, her apartment building burned down and she watched a couple neighbors get trapped and die. Frank tells her, this wasn't possible. You were gone for less than an hour. And Zoe's like, no, I was there for years. And that's what hell is. It's you reliving the worst moment of your life over and over again for all eternity. So they're doing brain scans on Zoe and they realize that the serum makes brain activity rapidly increase. So whereas humans use 10% of their brain at any given time, Zoe's whole brain is lit up, which allows Zoe to develop these superhuman abilities, which is why she's able to read people's minds, and she can also do telekinesis, so that's great. Zoe then targets Eva and shows her the version of hell that Zoe is trapped in. So Zoe sees the burning building and she also sees this little girl. So Eva goes up to the little girl and it turns out that it's the child version of Zoe and that she accidentally is the one that started the fire, so she was responsible for her neighbors dying. And that's why she then went to hell. So then we see Zoe, now with black eyes, go up to Nico. And she tells him, I spent my whole life trying to make up for this one mistake and I still ended up in hell. And she uses her telekinesis to throw him inside of a locker and then crush the locker and kill him. She also kills the dog, by the way. We don't see it happen, we just hear it. And then, of course, she cuts the power to the whole lab. So Clay confronts her and is like, where's Nico? You were the last person with him. But she uses her telekinesis to make his e-cigarette fly down his throat and he chokes on it and dies. So now it's just Frank and Eva left, and Frank's like, this is my fault, I'm gonna take care of it. And he fills a syringe with poison to inject into Zoe to kill her. But obviously she's 5 steps ahead, so as he's approaching, she knows what he's about to do, so she grabs his head, crushes it with her bare hands, and kills him. So now we see Zoe and Eva both back in the hell fire nightmare. And while Zoe's distracted, Eva manages to inject her with the syringe and kill her. And then the fire department comes in and all is well, day saved. Just fucking kidding, because it was just an illusion. Eva looks up at the firefighter that saves her, and it turns out to be fucking Zoe. And Zoe then snaps Eva's neck and kills her, so everyone dies. But that's not all, because the final shot is of Zoe injecting Frank and the others with her own serum-filled blood and bringing them back to life. You see Frank gasp back to life and the movie ends.